Okay, so it seems like recently a streamer that we've been talking about quite a bit over on this channel has actually come back to VTubing and out of her hiatus a little bit. And it is very exciting to see as she set up a whole schedule and is pretty much back on course to, back to regular streaming, right? And this is obviously Shondo. Now, if you don't know, whenever the whole Bao situation went on a couple of, I think it was like a month or so ago, obviously she had this whole kind of situation where essentially, she was replying to stuff in not the best way to some people. And then obviously, after this, she then said the fact that she was having some kind of episode and she was in the hospital. And then that started off the hiatus, right? And that's essentially where we were at until obviously recently, where she started making some updates and things in terms of like her going outside and going on trips and stuff, which again has obviously clearly helped her, as it seems like she is now coming back to streaming, and she's actually had her first couple of streams already, and it is really great to see. But it seems like she's already found herself in a little bit of controversy, and I don't even know why there's controversy surrounding this, because I don't even think it's that much of a issue. But yeah, essentially there was a clip that's been floating around, or a couple of clips, sorry, that have been floating around in regards to this thing here, where essentially the title says, Shondo sets boundaries for parasocial fans, and I'm pretty sure this is whenever she came back. And obviously in this video, she essentially talks about the fact that, the idea of having no boundaries might be, seem nice and whatever, but ultimately it is unsustainable, and that she notes that the power dynamic between a streamer and their audience is inherently unbalanced. And the fact that she didn't want to be this kind of, girlfriend, wife, whatever streamer, right? Because again, there is a lot of parasocial streamers out there, not just in VTubing, but outside of VTubing as well, that obviously act, like a partner, right? Which I think is obviously a little bit far. I don't really watch any of those streams myself, so I couldn't really tell you exactly what goes on in it. But obviously there is, this kind of thing that goes around where some people do watch these streamers for that exact reason. And obviously it can get a little bit weird, and maybe Shondo and some other VTubers do sometimes kind of lean into it. You don't have to go fully into it. You can sometimes be slightly leaning into it, which again creates a lot of parasocial fans, and obviously that can become a really big problem, especially whenever you want to do stuff yourself, or whenever you want to be left alone or something like that. Then obviously that can be a big problem later on, due to the fact that you've got parasocial fans constantly wanting to check up, constantly acting like they are also a partner as well, which I don't think is the best way to really have a relationship as a streamer and a viewer, right? And saying despite these struggles, she intends to continue streaming and wants her audience to, enjoy their time together. She states that viewers can honestly view her however they wish, whether as a wife or an emoto younger sister, but she will personally work hard to respect and maintain boundaries for her own health. She also admits to encouraging the attention by asking for it, noting that she's now laying in the bed that she made, and acknowledging that the constant need for more attention from the audience is never enough, which, yeah, obviously as well, she also reveals the weight of people being obsessed with her has become crushing. While she initially enjoyed the spotlight and feeling of people being infatuated with her, it no longer feels good and has become painful. So, yeah. I mean, this is essentially, I guess, a realization after all of this stuff has gone on, that maybe the behavior that she was kind of allowing and stuff over on her stream isn't actually good anymore. And I think there's a lot of people that have been, very angry at her and stuff, for example, saying that, obviously it's her fault that this has happened. And obviously it is her fault that all of these people have become so parasocial towards her and have become, I guess, so obsessed with her. That is 100% her fault for, obviously encouraging it on her stream. But I think now it's the time to kind of be like, okay, well, she's saying that it's her fault. She's not denying that it wasn't her fault. And she's also saying that she wants this to change, right? She's not like further encouraging it or anything. And I think a lot of people don't really seem to understand that, right? People can kind of change their opinions on this kind of stuff, especially in regards to something I guess complicated as this, right? It seems like Shondo obviously has gone through quite a bit over the past couple of months or so, and has realized that obviously these parasocial obsessed fans aren't exactly the thing that she wants anymore. And obviously, yes, she did encourage it beforehand, but it seems like she doesn't want to encourage it anymore, which I think obviously should be a thing that everyone should support, right? Again, most people are under the impression that parasocial and obsessed fans are weird, and that encouraging them is weird, right? And obviously I can understand why people would be angry at her, because she has encouraged that. But as I said, she's trying to change it. She's trying to, she's wanting to change it. And I think that people shouldn't be angry at her for wanting to change it, right? Obviously, they go on to say, my favorite form of lazy clickbait. They say, I think it's fair, even if she did cultivate that audience, and I don't know if she did or not. She can recognize that she seemed screwed up by doing so. Seems like by her own admission, she did a poor job at setting boundaries, and now she's putting a stop to it. The best time to cut that stuff out is yesterday. The best time is now. So yeah, they say she literally said she is all of her viewers' waifu multiple times in the past. It got plenty of attention and adoration from her fans in the past, and she finally understood that's something you shouldn't be doing. There's always going to be weirdos who will take that very, very seriously, which, again, it's 100% true, right? I think there is like this whole thing where people don't understand the consequences of saying stuff like this, because there are some people that will take it way too seriously, right? Even if she is joking, even if she is saying it as a little bit of a joke, right? Because again, it seems like she wasn't too serious about it, but also she was enjoying the attention by it. But now it seems like she's completely, I guess, realized, hey, you know, maybe this isn't the best thing, because there are actual genuine, like, obsessed weirdos who will obviously try to do anything to be closer with her, right? And yeah, you know, you can understand what I mean by anything, right? Going into personal info and things, which obviously wouldn't be good, right? You don't want that as a streamer, you don't want that as a VTuber, right? So again, obviously, hopefully that does kind of, you know, clarify things. Obviously, there's been some other posts as well. People saying today, Shondo said some things on her stream that clarified what she meant on stream on Thursday. It's personally helped me a lot, and I want everyone to think it. Sorry, I want everyone thinking about these things to see it too. If you didn't catch today's stream, and people said, but that's exactly what she said on Thursday's stream, and everybody had a mental breakdown. And they say the most important takeaways of me is that she hasn't stopped loving her viewers and won't and appreciates us loving her. Also, I was worried that loving her alone might be too much. That even saying it and then now might hurt her, which again, I'm like, loving is quite a strong word. But anyways, they say, in my case, I had no issues Thursday, but seeing how others were reacting affected me. It was perception and context that changed afterwards. I had already calmed down before the stream today, but hearing this was reassuring, and I want others who might have missed it to see. Which again, I think if you are really getting so worked up over a clip like this of her saying that she wants to distance herself from parasocial viewers and obsessed weirdos, I do think you are a little bit weird, right? I do think that obviously you have gotten yourself to a point where you shouldn't be kind of, you know, doing this kind of behavior. Obviously, I know some people can't help it. Some people, you know, obviously can get obsessed very easily over this kind of stuff. But I mean, you shouldn't be getting mad at Shondo for wanting to set those boundaries. And obviously, yes, as you know, they said it was her fault for kind of allowing it to happen in the first place. Obviously, they wouldn't even be anywhere near a situation like this at the start if, you know, this wasn't encouraged in the first place. But now she is 100% setting her boundaries. And I think anybody trying to take this as like she doesn't like her viewers or something is just stupid. Obviously, it seems like they're probably kind of butthurt over the fact that she, you know, maybe doesn't want to be as parasocial anymore as, you know, she used to be. Which, again, I think is still fine, right? I don't think it doesn't mean she doesn't like her fans. It means that she's setting boundaries that almost every other streamer and every other VTuber has in their career, right? I think that is just a normal thing to have that Shondo didn't really have in the beginning, right? He was saying, even so, she has full rights to cut that audience off. She's human and is tired of it. Said, you're misunderstanding. She's not cutting anyone off. She's reining herself in. Shondo's been acting very parasocial in the past, and she's now going to do better. And yeah, it doesn't seem like she's trying to cut them off or trying to cut the parasocials off in terms of like silencing them or anything. It seems like she's just going to calm down on the actions that have been, I guess, totally, you know, have been like kind of encouraging this, right? And the actions that have been kind of attracting these people. Because again, if you stop doing that, then obviously they'll stop getting interested and then they might leave or they might stay. You never know. And maybe they'll stop being as parasocial. But again, obviously it all comes from her side to essentially, you know, stop that kind of behavior from happening in chat, right? And I think that is obviously the right way to do it. Obviously, more people saying, what is the boundary? Has she been DMing feet to her tier 3 subs or something? Said she isn't going to treat her followers like literal husbands and wives and try to make us feel loved like that off stream. She doesn't want to be people's obsession anymore. She had closed her DMs to viewers long before I ever watched her because people took things way too far. Which, yeah, I do think is actually, yeah, that's fair enough. They said, I don't get it. She wants things to stay the same, but also to change. She wants things to stay the same while having fun on stream. She wants things to change where people's only happiness comes from her attention off stream. With the later, even perceived slights can hurt people rather than make them happy. Which again, I think that is pretty understandable, right? Obviously, it seems like, you know, there was some off-stream kind of interactions that were going on, like, I don't know, like DMs or something, or anything. Obviously, they said she closed down her DMs to people because they got weird. But again, just any kind of off-stream interactions and stuff, that will be stopping. I'm unsure on actual stream behavior, but again, I do think, obviously, it seems like she's just kind of, I guess, realizing the gravity of what kind of encouraging parasocial fans can do and how that can be an issue sometimes, right? And obviously, it's not just a kind of like, oh, you're taking advantage of these people. Nobody's really saying that, right? It's more so the fact of, hey, you know, this could actually put her in danger more so than the people that have been obviously being obsessed with her and everything like that, right? I do think that is more of a her thing that has been more of a worry because, again, as I said, people are obsessed. People can go to pretty extreme lengths to, you know, be even more obsessed with her, which I think obviously can be pretty worrying. And obviously it seems like she has kind of realized that, you know, some of her actions have probably egged on some of that behavior, which could, you know, ultimately lead to something bad happening, right? And I think that if she cuts it out, you know, as soon as possible, then, you know, it should be fine and everything should be good. And it seems like that is what she's doing, right? So again, I do think that anybody getting mad at this, anybody getting upset at her for setting boundaries with parasocial fans are just stupid, right? I think, honestly, you might be one of those parasocial fans if you are getting very angry at that. Obviously, she's clarified that she still, you know, loves her audience and stuff. She still wants to interact with them. She still has a great time with them. It's just the fact that, you know, she doesn't want to do this parasocial stuff, especially off stream, in terms of the fans and, you know, kind of acting like this whole, like, wife thing, which, again, was a thing that happened a while ago. And obviously, people saying, I agree with Shondo, we as streamers are inherently parasocial, and I know I'm quite a parasocial in my community, partly because I love you guys a lot, and I always want to see you win, and vice versa, and partly because we're also ungodly lonely. They say, when I wasn't able to stream last year and earlier this year from my laptop dying and from being sick, I was so incredibly depressed. I wanted to die every second I was away from you guys. That's not healthy for either of us. I love you all to death, but it's so hard for me to step back when real life only wants to beat me over the head with bricks. How do you become happy in a world that wants to see you cry? So obviously that's what they responded with, which obviously, yeah, is fair enough. And again, it also comes from, you know, more of Shondo's side. I don't think Shondo was particularly blaming her audience for this either. You know, I don't think she was saying, hey, you parasocial fans, cut it out. You're being stupid. What the hell? She was actually more so just blaming herself, which I do think is obviously the best kind of way to go about it, because she knows, obviously, as I said, she's taking accountability for her kind of causing a lot of the behavior that's going on anyways. So again, I do think obviously a lot of it comes from her wanting to be parasocial as well, and now obviously having that bit of a, I guess, a mind change, or like a, what do you call it, tone change, or I don't know, change of heart, right, in terms of this going on. So again, obviously, I feel like, you know, this will probably set a new kind of boundary in terms of chatters and stuff in her chat, and hopefully this does help her out to, you know, continue streaming more, and I guess just feel a little bit less uncomfortable with a lot of the stuff that has been going on recently. But yeah, that is essentially all I got for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameSubs, use my code Kaz, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.